Alright, so let's take a trip down memory lane to UFC 243, Israel the Last Stylebender Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker. Israel puts on an incredible performance, stops Robert in round number 2, and goes on to win the middleweight championship. Now, once the fight was over, in the post-fight press conference, he said this.
Ever since they fucked me up on EA Sports and made my body like Chad Mendes, I've never touched that game. I've never. You need to get me in the studio, do the proper scan, get my proper question mark kicks and everything. So I don't fuck with that game.
Fast forward to UFC 244, Shane Burgos, a featherweight, puts on an incredible performance against Marwan Amir Khani in a fight where he was facing a very good grappler and uses his striking to completely shut him down. And once the fight was over, on Twitter, he was tagged in a message specifically talking about coming into the EA studios to do motion capture for EA Sports UFC 4, and his response and the way that he was liking those tweets tells you that he is interested. So you've got two fighters in the UFC, one of them a UFC champion, two of them elite level kickboxers, telling you that they are 100% down to coming in to do motion capture for UFC 4. And here we have it, my very first wish list for EA Sports UFC 4. Now, this video is going to have a little bit of constructive criticism to it, and of course when you're offering someone criticism, especially when you have no malice, there's no malicious undertone to it, it's very wise to start off the criticism with a little bit of praise, just to help the criticism be a little bit more palatable, a little easy to swallow and digest. So, for example, if you were going to criticize your favorite fighter or give him some constructive criticism, you could say, hey man, Conor McGregor, big fan. I love what you've done. I love your style of striking. I love your growth, the way you started from nothing to becoming a superstar in the UFC, the highest paid athlete in the UFC. Massive fan of your work, man. Will always be a fan. But maybe don't punch old people in bars. See kind of how that goes? So we're going to see if we can mimic something like that in this video. So here we go. EA, big fan, man. Big fan of your work in EA Sports UFC 3. Awesome game. Incredible game. In my opinion, the best mixed martial arts game you can buy on the market right now. I know everyone talks about UFC Undisputed 3 and it's an incredible game, but I do think UFC 3 is absolutely better than that game. I love what you've done with the locomotion, very revolutionary. I love the striking in this game. And speaking of animation, since that's the topic that we're on, I also love what you've done with some of these animations. You don't get enough credit for it because we're asking for more, but you did a fairly good job. When you take a look at the jab, for example, we've got levels 1 to level 5, and you'll see that if you look at level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 4 and level 5 share the same animation, but you've got 4 distinct jab animations in the game. The same thing with the cross, and that's not counting specific fighter animations. Someone like Angela Hill, who came in and was, she had her own specific motion capture sets. She has her own unique jab and straight animation. Someone like, I'm drawing a blank, but there are a lot of other fighters in the game with their own specific animations. Bruce Lee is the fighter I was thinking of. Bruce Lee has the unique backhanded jab in the game as well. So great job with that. But you know what, man? You know what's interesting about doing a really good job? When you do a really, really good job, if you're given a responsibility and you handle that responsibility well, you are rewarded with more responsibility. If you do good work, you're rewarded with more work. And that is why I am coming to you humbly, requesting that you do a little bit more, EA. You've got to do a little bit more. Again, great job on the jab and straight animations. But what about the hooks? What about the uppercuts? What about the overhands, spinning back fists? What about the kicks? You see, we need more animations to separate the good fighters from fighters who perhaps don't throw a lot of these strikes technically, especially when it comes to the kicks. Now, you guys heard what Israel said. He took one look at his fighter model, did not like it, did not like the way his question mark kick was handled, and that was enough for him to not want to play the game at all. Now, what this shows you is, yes, it is absolutely true that a few things should take priority. I understand that completely. The ground game needs work. The clinch needs work. We need a more exciting career mode. Ultimate Team was absolutely horrendous in EA Sports UFC 3, and it needs work as well. We have a few bugs still left when it comes to the striking system in EA Sports UFC 3 that you guys will need to fix. These things take priority over things like character model and fighter animations, but it's very important that you keep in mind that as much as video games, especially a video game like this, a very complicated game like this, is scientific. You know, you have to write code and stuff like that to get the game working. It's also an art, and art has to be aesthetically pleasing. It has to have a little bit of flash, and this is something that UFC Undisputed 3 understood. The game under the hood is not as good as UFC 3 is under the hood, but they knew for sure that they had to give you those unique fighter animations to keep you coming back. That's what keeps players coming back, especially when they're spectating. If they're watching someone play the game and they're seeing every single fighter throwing strikes the same exact way, it kills the desire to play. You're not really going to want to pick up the game because all you have in front of you is what you can see. An analogy that I always use is when you talk about a high-powered car. We all want that. I mean, it's great that a car can do 0 to 60 in 0.5 seconds. That's incredible. That's amazing. You know, it's really, really good on gas. The car is really powerful. Sounds great. But if the car doesn't look good, if the design on the outside is not aesthetically pleasing, if it does not make you want to get into the car, everything under the hood makes no sense. Like, there's no reason for me to want to drive it. I'm not gonna care about how powerful the car is if it's not beautiful to drive. And that is the issue that a lot of players are running into with EA Sports UFC 3. So many things look the same, from the block animations, high and low block, to a lot of the kicks, man. They look too similar to a lot of the locomotion. Even though you guys did a really good job on that, we need more of that. Now, Israel has said that he wants to come in and do motion capture for the game. And considering the fact that he is now a champion, he's probably busy. I understand that, you know, it could be all talk. He's saying, yeah, he wants to come in, but you guys will probably reach out to him and he's probably too busy and the schedules might clash and you're not probably gonna find a good time to come together. But at the very least, just try. Just try. That's all I'm asking. Try to bring him in. If you cannot bring Israel in, then bring in someone that knows how to throw these strikes, especially with the kicks. We need a few of these kicks reanimated. We need to recapture them. And when I say recapture, I'm not talking about deleting the ones we have and replacing them completely. That's not what I'm asking for. What I'm asking for is for you to add on to what we have already. And the reason why you need to do that is it's not enough to create a difference between fighters using stats, only stats, and move levels. It's not enough. If you're telling me that Khabib Nurmagomedov has a level 1 leg kick, but then when I watch him throw a leg kick, it looks exactly the same as a leg kick thrown by Edson Barboza, you've lost me right there. You've killed my immersion. If Khabib has a level 1 leg kick, then his leg kick better look like a level 1. If Edson Barboza has a level 5 leg kick, his leg kick better look like a level 5 leg kick. If you're telling me that Israel is an incredible proficient kickboxer, and this is the animation you have for him when he throws a question mark kick, that's just insulting to the man. And you cannot expect him to see that and go, oh, okay, I'm gonna play the game. Awesome, I'm okay with that. Of course he's not gonna play the game. He knows how his question mark kick should look. When he sees that, he's not happy about that. So if you cannot bring Israel in, then, I don't know, bring in someone else. a local fighter, a local MMA fighter around, someone that can actually do this, and bring in a good director to show them exactly how to do it correctly. That's what you guys will need to do to create more uniqueness when it comes to these fighters. So that is it. EA Sports UFC 4 wishlist number 1. Again, like I said, there's so much to talk about, so much that needs to take priority, so much that they'll need to fix to make the game actually better than UFC 3. But one thing that's going to be like a cherry on top, you know, it's just gonna make the game just that much better. More unique fighter animations. Reach out to these guys that are telling you they are willing to come in and do motion capture and try to bring them in. That's what I'm asking for. Now, to end this video, here's what I'm going to say. To whom it may concern, listen up. Listen up. I understand the importance of being first. I understand what you believe that will do for your channel. Listen to me very carefully right now. I understand that, all right? You want to be first. You want to tell people information that no one else is telling them. But you know what is more important than being first? It's being right. Making sure that your sources are not full of crap. Because if you take information from shady sources, people that don't know what they're talking about, and then you present that information as fact and you stand by it because you want to elevate your channel, and it turns out that that information is wrong, you're going to do a lot of damage to yourself. It's going to end up being the complete opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Take that and do whatever you want with it.